What's going on, Bears Nation? And welcome back to Bears News Fan Report, your go-to source for everything Chicago Bears. I'm bringing you the latest updates, breaking news, and all the rumors surrounding our beloved team. Before we get into today's story, make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell because you're not going to want to miss what I'm about to tell you. The trade deadline just passed, and let me tell you, there was a lot of smoke, a lot of speculation, and some serious drama surrounding our pass rush situation. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what went down, why it matters for our playoff push, and what this means for the rest of our season. So stick with me because this is information every Bears fan needs to hear right now. Let me take you back to Week 9 when everything changed. We were riding high with a 5-3 record. Caleb Williams was showing serious progress under Ben Johnson's system, and our defense was starting to gel. Then disaster struck. Dayo Odeyingbo went down with a season-ending Achilles injury, and suddenly we had a massive hole on our defensive line. Losing a key edge rusher in the middle of a playoff race is devastating, and everyone knew Ryan Poles had to do something. The question wasn't if he would make a move, but what kind of move he would make. The trade deadline was approaching fast, and Bears fans everywhere were glued to their phones waiting for news. Social media was exploding with speculation about who we might target, and one name kept popping up over and over again. Now, I want you to understand the context of where we are as a franchise right now. This isn't a rebuilding year anymore. We're 5-3, we're in the thick of the playoff race, and Ben Johnson made it crystal clear that he has zero interest in a slow build. This coaching staff believes we can compete right now, and honestly, the talent on this roster backs that up. Caleb Williams is developing faster than anyone expected. Our rookie tight end, Colston Loveland, and running back, Kyle Munningai, both had breakout performances against Cincinnati. The offense is clicking, and the defense has been solid. But here's the reality of the NFL. You can't afford to have weaknesses, especially on the edge where elite pass rushers can completely change games. When Odeyingbo went down, it exposed a vulnerability that opposing offensive coordinators would absolutely try to exploit down the stretch. Ryan Poles has built a reputation as an aggressive general manager who isn't afraid to make bold moves at the trade deadline. He's shown time and time again that he's willing to pull the trigger on deals that improve this roster, and with our playoff hopes on the line, everyone expected him to be active. The media started connecting dots, insiders started dropping hints, and one particular name from Cincinnati became the center of attention. I'm talking about a proven pass rusher, a guy who's been one of the most productive edge defenders in the entire league over the past few seasons. This player had double-digit sacks multiple years running. He's a game wrecker who can take over in crucial moments, and he was potentially available. The football world started buzzing about whether the Bears would make a massive splash to land this elite talent. Let me give you some background on this player because his resume is absolutely impressive. We're talking about someone who recorded double-digit sacks in consecutive seasons, who consistently ranks among the league leaders in quarterback pressures, and who has proven he can perform at the highest level year after year. This is exactly the type of veteran presence you want to add when you're making a playoff push. Imagine having an elite edge rusher opposite our existing pass rushers, creating havoc for opposing quarterbacks and giving our secondary more time to cover. That's the kind of impact player who can elevate an entire defense and turn a good team into a legitimate contender. The possibility of adding this caliber of talent had Bears fans dreaming big about what our defense could become. On November 2nd, Dan Graziano from ESPN specifically connected the Chicago Bears to the Cincinnati pass rusher. He wrote that if this player became available, Chicago should absolutely inquire about acquiring him. Graziano acknowledged it would be a 2-month rental since the player isn't signed beyond this season, but he also pointed out that our standings say we're competing right now. Ben Johnson has made it clear he wants to win immediately, and Ryan Poles is known for being active at the deadline. The analysis made perfect sense, and it got Bears Nation incredibly excited about the possibility of landing a proven star to bolster our pass rush for the stretch run. Social media exploded with mock trades, salary cap breakdowns, and debates about what we should be willing to give up to make it happen. But here's where things get complicated, and this is where I need you to pay close attention, because the business side of the NFL often determines what's possible versus what's ideal. The Cincinnati Bengals were reportedly asking for a first-round pick in exchange for their star edge rusher. Now let me break down why that's such a significant ask. We're talking about a player who's over 30 years old with a projected market value of around $133 million, and he's only under contract for the remainder of this season. That means whoever trades for him is essentially giving up a first-round pick for a 2-month rental, with no guarantee of being able to re-sign him in the offseason. That's an enormous price to pay, especially for a team like the Bears that's still building for sustained success. Ryan Poles would have to weigh whether sacrificing a future first-round pick is worth the potential playoff boost this season. The debate within Bears Nation was intense. Some fans argued that we're in win-now mode and should go all in to maximize our playoff chances. Others pointed out that giving up premium draft capital for a short-term rental doesn't align with building a championship window that can last multiple years. Both perspectives have merit, and I'm sure this was exactly the kind of discussion happening inside Halas Hall as Ryan Poles evaluated his options. The trade deadline was approaching fast, and decisions needed to be made. Every Bears fan was refreshing their social media feeds constantly, waiting for breaking news about whether we would pull the trigger on a blockbuster deal. Then, on Tuesday, just before the deadline, Jay Glazer from Fox Sports provided some crucial insight that changed the entire narrative. When a fan asked him on social media if the Bears would be active at the deadline, Glazer responded with some reality that tempered expectations. He confirmed that Chicago would be active, but he made it clear that doesn't necessarily mean landing a big-name player. Glazer explained that there simply aren't that many elite-level players being shopped unless teams receive a huge haul in return, and for some of these players, their contracts expire after this season, which complicates things significantly. His exact words were, "I don't see anything splashy." That statement basically poured cold water on the idea of the Bears making a blockbuster move for a star pass rusher. So where did that leave us? Ryan Poles still needed to address the pass rush, but it became clear he wasn't going to mortgage the future by giving up a first-round pick for a rental player. That's actually smart long-term thinking, even if it's not as exciting as landing a household name. The Bears are building something sustainable here, and maintaining draft capital is crucial for continued roster improvement. But Poles wasn't going to sit on his hands either. He knew we needed reinforcements on the edge, and later that same Tuesday, he made his move. This is where things get really interesting, because the trade he pulled off shows exactly the kind of calculated risk-taking that defines his approach as a general manager. Adam Schefter broke the news that the Cleveland Browns were sending defensive end Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and a 7th-round pick to the Chicago Bears in exchange for a 6th-round pick. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, that's not the splashy move we were hoping for. But let me explain why this trade actually makes a lot of sense and could end up being a really smart acquisition. First, the Bears essentially moved up 1 round in the draft while adding a young edge rusher with legitimate NFL experience. That's excellent value. Second, we addressed our need at the position without sacrificing significant assets. Third, and this is important, we're getting a player who still has upside and could potentially be part of our long-term plans if he performs well. Let me give you the scouting report on Joe Tryon-Shoyinka because his background is actually pretty intriguing. He was a first-round pick by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in 2021, so we're talking about a player who was evaluated as a premium talent coming out of college. Things didn't work out in Tampa, which happens sometimes when the scheme fit isn't right or the situation doesn't match a player's skill set. He recorded 15 sacks during his time with the Buccaneers, which shows he has the ability to get to the quarterback at the NFL level. This past offseason, he signed a one-year deal worth $4.75 million with Cleveland, looking to rebuild his value. The problem in Cleveland was playing time. He appeared in all 8 games this season, but only played 31 defensive snaps total. That's barely any opportunity to showcase what he can do. Here's where this gets exciting for Bears fans. Tryon-Shoyinka is only 26 years old, which means he's right in his athletic prime. He's a former first-round pick with legitimate physical tools and pass rush ability. He just needs an opportunity to play, and he's going to get that opportunity in Chicago. With Odeyingbo out for the season, there are snaps available on our defensive line, and Tryon-Shoyinka will have every chance to prove he belongs. Sometimes a change of scenery is exactly what a player needs to unlock their potential. Maybe the scheme in Tampa wasn't ideal for his skill set. Maybe the lack of playing time in Cleveland was frustrating and limiting his development. Now he gets a fresh start with a team that's competing for the playoffs, and that kind of situation can bring out the best in players. Think about what this means for our defense moving forward. We've got a young, athletic edge rusher joining our rotation who was good enough to be a first-round pick just a few years ago. He's hungry to prove himself after limited opportunities in Cleveland. He's joining a defensive system that's been effective this season and a coaching staff that knows how to put players in position to succeed. And we acquired him for essentially nothing, just swapping late-round picks. That's the kind of low-risk, high-reward move that can pay huge dividends. If Tryon-Shoyinka comes in and provides quality pass rush, we've solved our problem without sacrificing future assets. If it doesn't work out, we gave up almost nothing to find out. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture and what this all means for the rest of our season. The Chicago Bears are sitting at 5-3 with legitimate playoff aspirations. Caleb Williams is progressing beautifully under Ben Johnson's offensive system. Our rookie playmakers are stepping up and making contributions. The defense has been solid overall. We're favored to beat the New York Giants next week by 3.5 points, and our schedule sets up reasonably well down the stretch. This team has real potential to make noise in the postseason if we can stay healthy and continue improving. And how confident are you in our playoff chances with the roster we have right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I want to hear from every single member of Bears Nation. This is a crucial stretch of the season, and your perspective matters. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated on everything Chicago Bears, make sure you subscribe to Bears News Fan Report and turn on those notifications. I'm constantly monitoring every development with this team, from roster moves to game analysis to insider information, and I bring it all to you with the detailed coverage you deserve. Share this video with your fellow Bears fans so everyone stays informed about what's happening with our team. Follow me on social media for real-time updates and additional content. Remember, this is your home for all things Chicago Bears, and I'll see you in the next video with more breaking news and in-depth analysis. Bear down. Let's make this playoff push happen.